everybody, I'm Bankle Monkey, and I think video games are bad at numbers. At least when it comes to naming their games. You can't have a conversation about the Super Nintendo era Final Fantasy games without doing the whole Japanese Final Fantasy II or American Final Fantasy II thing. Same goes for Final Fantasy III. And 5 is just floating out in the ether somewhere, and then 7 happens. It's maddening. Then there's Kingdom Hearts, which just can't decide when they're done adding plot points to a story that only vaguely makes sense anyway. If you look at the chronological order of the games, it goes Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, which I guess maths out to Kingdom Hearts 179 days, Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, that's a pun, I get it now, that's a pun. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, Kingdom Hearts 3. I grew up playing Mega Man 4, 5, and 6, but then all of a sudden Mega Man X popped up out of nowhere, and my kid brain, having just learned Roman numerals, demanded to know how I'd missed Mega Man 7 through 9.
What the heck come after 6?
But we're here to talk about Super Mario games, and they're far from the worst offender of these number salads. But their crime is far more heinous than failing at math. Nintendo thought anyone outside of Japan wasn't good enough to handle Super Mario Bros. 2. So they took another game called Doki Doki Panic, they reskinned it to be a Mario game, and then they sent it to the States. We'll come back to that story another time. But right now, I'm just struggling to get over the fact that Nintendo thought the rest of the world wasn't good enough at video games for a Mario game. Since then, they've come around and made the real Super Mario Bros. 2 available to us peons. First, a graphically enhanced version in Super Mario All-Stars, where they call it The Lost Levels. But later, the true original version on the Wii Virtual Console, a couple other compilations, and the Nintendo Switch Online NES catalog, which is how I'm playing it. So on their second step out of the gate, Nintendo made Mario's chronology all sorts of a mess. In Japan, it goes Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario USA? Ew. Everywhere else, it's Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2. So to prevent any confusion in this video, from here on out, I will refer to this game as The Lost Levels. Also because I don't want to say Super Mario USA more than I have to. Ugh. Alright, so let's get down to The Lost Levels. The name sounds so foreboding, like, play me. If you dare, Ninja Vanish. I dabbled in this game as a kid when I rented Super Mario All-Stars, but this is the first time I'm giving it a good hard look. I gotta say, I was a little intimidated taking this one on. It has this reputation of being a really hard game after all. But it is still just a Mario game, it can't be that bad, right? Okay, it's not exactly easy, but a challenge can be fun too. Okay, it's pretty hard. Okay, it's really f***ing hard. This game is a relentless troll to first-time players, everything is cruel, and it hates you. But why is it so mean? Well, during development, Mario's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, was so busy juggling The Legend of Zelda and leading Nintendo Research and Development No. 4 division that he handed the Mario reins over to his assistant director, Takashi Tezuka. Tezuka felt that the Japanese audience had mastered Mario's gameplay already and needed a harder challenge in the sequel. They even slapped a 4 Super Player sticker on the box. Boing! So when Nintendo of America finally got their hands on it, they were immediately like, yeah, no. So we didn't see this version in the West until much later. Which I'm fine with, honestly. This kind of difficulty spike might have hurt the Western audience's view of Mario. I mean, imagine the timeline where people call Dark Souls the Super Mario 2 of spooky sword games. While being hard as nails, it did add some quality of life changes that actually made it more user-friendly than its predecessor. When you get a game over in Super Mario Bros. 1, you go all the way back to the beginning of the entire game. In the Lost Levels, you start at the beginning of whatever world you were last in, and thank the mushroom gods for that, because this game calls for some serious trial and error. There aren't a lot of clues to the tricks you have to pull to clear a lot of these levels. You're constantly asked to make leaps of faith, and they almost always lead to certain death. In level 5-1, for example, if you miss the secret exit, you end up at a literal dead end where you have to wait for the clock to run out and die and try again. Or so I thought until I found the hidden blocks that get you up over the wall. Hidden blocks are frequently used in this game to open paths that look inaccessible. It's clever design, but it lacks that bit of conveyance I personally would have liked. The whole game is full of little troll moments. They'll give you an invincibility star right when you need to bounce off an enemy to clear a jump, so instead, you fall straight through. The castle level mazes make sure you have to take the most difficult route through to progress to the next section, including one where, to the best of my knowledge, you have to be Small Mario to progress. Goodbye, fire powers. I hardly knew ye. They added a new wind mechanic to some levels that make you jump further, but it also just stops without notice sometimes. There are springs that launch you off the screen as well, and then they combine that with the wind to make you make some major leaps of faith. There are warp tubes that make you warp backwards. And of course there's the infamous poison mushroom that kills Mario on contact. Does this game do you any favors? Yes. 1. We're gonna troll this troll game right back. So the infinite life trick is helpful, but what's even more helpful is the rewind function on the Switch version. Look, I'm the Prince of Persia! Is it cheap? Yes. Does it go against the true spirit of the game? Yes. Is this game a vicious troll that needs defeated by any means possible? Yes. Okay, I got all that negativity off my chest, and there's plenty of other nice things to mention about this game. For instance, it's the first time Mario and Luigi have different playstyles. While Mario maintains that same gameplay from the first game, Luigi jumps way higher than Mario now. But they just couldn't let Luigi have nice things, now could they? In return, his shoes will be permanently covered in butter. I also realized I never talked about how wonderful and iconic the Super Mario Bros. Music was in the last video.
Do the Mario! Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go! Do the Mario!
Fortunately, I get another chance now because this game uses the exact same music. It's a very true sequel in that respect, I guess. The music definitely was not broke, so they didn't fix it. Neither was the art design apparently, because they did very little to change it. The ground has more of a gravel texture to it this time, and the clouds in the bushes have little smiley faces on them. Added specifically to mock you as you die for the 18th time on the same level, I must assume. The story's the same too. Save the princess, turtle monsters, mushroom people. Cool. As you can tell, Nintendo just didn't change very much from the last game, other than the difficulty. But to be fair, this game did come out less than a year after the first one. They did add 5 extra worlds to complete, with, get this, even more challenging levels. To reach World 9, you have to beat the game without using any warp pipes. This fantasy world, as they call it, isn't too hard actually, but it is massively trippy. But for worlds A through D, you have to beat this game 8 f***ing times. I read that online after beating this game for my second time, and I was pretty sure I just wasn't gonna do it. This game is relentless, and honestly, my first playthrough just wasn't fun for me. But if I'm gonna have a YouTube channel, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the YouTube stuff, I'm gonna do it right. So I slogged through this game, playing as both Mario and Luigi to keep it fresh, 8 f***ing times. And as I went along, and I got more familiar with the levels, the tricks, the trolls, it got more fun. I was getting better, and I was rewinding my deaths a lot less. I was actually enjoying myself. I thought about how many times I played the first Super Mario Bros. Game, and how I've come to know that one like the back of my hand. Oh yeah, that's normal, it's fine. I was finally getting to that place with the Lost levels. It has a groove. I'm just not as familiar with it yet. but I found it. And by the time I unlocked those last 4 bonus worlds, they weren't intimidating or a chore. They were just really fun to play through. Sure, I was able to rewind and fix my mistakes, but to get a taste of this game without spending the time to master it feels pretty good. And despite all that complaining earlier, this game is definitely worth a taste. But maybe just a taste. Nintendo hasn't gone back to this direct sequel, just harder formula since this, favoring saving these sort of challenges for a few optional hard-as-nails levels in newer Mario games, which was probably a wise choice. So where do we put this very interesting piece of Mario history on the ranking board? I'm placing it below the original Super Mario Bros. I just don't think something with this much trial and error and a lack of new elements puts it above the original. It's definitely not a bad game, but sometimes you just have to put a troll in its place. So that does it for Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Next time we'll be taking on Super Mario Bros. 2, or the worse titled, Super Mario USA. So tune in next time to see if it can dethrone the original champ. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.